With Assassin's Creed Valhalla releasing in November 2020 and its recently released trailers and gameplay videos, I thought about going back to one of the previous installments of the Assassin's Creed franchise and see how it stacks up in 2020 and if it's still worth it. Especially that you would probably be able to get it at a great discount price nowadays. As per their usual, Ubisoft releases a new Assassin's Creed almost every year. And while some of them turn out to be really good games, some are not that great. Especially that we can't help but compare them to each other, and when Origins was released, there were a lot of changes made to the franchise, and we will be checking throughout this review if they enhanced the experience or made it worse. What's up everyone and welcome to a new video. My name is Omar with Real Gamer Review, and today we are reviewing Assassin's Creed Origins almost 3 years after the release. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and liking the video and turn on the bell icon to watch more videos like this one. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So this time around, Ubisoft takes us back to ancient Egypt with a new protagonist called Bayek of Siwa. And Siwa is an actual place in Egypt which still exists till today, FYI. He is ranked as Magi, which is something a bit equivalent to a sheriff nowadays. For the sake of not spoiling the story, I won't give any specific info, but what I can say is that the story contains personal revenge and that there is some sort of a group called the Order, which has a strong resemblance to the series' primary villains, the Knights Templars. So long story short, it's kind of a backstory of how the Assassins and the Templars were first revealed, which is a pretty good story actually that I've enjoyed a lot. As for the missions, they share a big resemblance to the previous Assassin's Creed installments. Some are pretty good and some are just mediocre and a bit repetitive, especially with the camps part. The game, as usual with every installment, introduces famous historical figures like Cleopatra, Julius Caesar, Ptolemy XIII, and many more. This detail is present in almost every Assassin's Creed installment, but I never got bored of it. There is something really special and intriguing about meeting historical figures, even if it's in a video game. And Ubisoft just gets it right with every installment. Coming to the gameplay, first thing I want to talk about is the combat, as it's one of the things that Ubisoft upgrades almost with every installment, and it received an update with Origins that I'm not a big fan of. I used to like the old Assassin's Creed combat mechanics more, which had the fluid combat killing streak, which were included back in the Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag if you have played those games. Back where the combat was more similar to Batman Arkham games style. Yes, I know that some people might say it was easier when it came to the combat with the old mechanics, and the new one is more challenging, but still I liked it more. And I wish it would come back to the franchise, as I personally felt it was better. Let me know which fight mechanics you think were better in the comments. Of course, coming to the second part, which is the assassinations and stealth, the old fans like me would notice immediately that with Origins, it is not a stealth game anymore. Most of the combat now is head-on style, focusing more on dodging, blocking, and parrying, with a small number of missions that includes stealth and original Assassin's Creed style assassinations. It's pretty similar to Dark Souls series style of combat, but way easier. Don't get me wrong, the combat mechanics are pretty good, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of fans out there that like it, but for me, I just preferred the old mechanics a bit more. You still have the upgrade system mechanics for all your weapons, including the heavy weapons, the swords, and the bow. Every time you upgrade your skills, you get a new set of weapons which are higher ranked, or you can even sometimes go ahead and buy them a bit earlier from the market or the swordsmith. Also, you can find them sometimes while looting enemies or looting boxes scattered around camps or around the map. You also still have the slightly upgraded skill tree system to upgrade your skills throughout the game when acquiring points from finishing main and side missions. It has 3 main trees to upgrade, which are Warrior, which focuses on melee combat, Hunter, which focuses more on ranged combat and stealth, and last we have Steer, which focuses on tools and manipulating the environment. The old climbing mechanics and Eagle Eye are still there in this installment, but I don't see that you will be using the climbing that much compared to the old installments, as most of the buildings in ancient Egypt are not that tall, so probably you'll be doing a lot of more running instead of climbing. Exploring in this game is also pretty good, as there is a lot of good scenery to see around with every new explored area, which I'll be discussing in more details in the graphics and visuals section. But keep in mind that the exploring part is a bit limited in the beginning of the game, as you open new areas while progressing throughout the game. One thing I didn't like that much is that some of the side missions felt a bit repetitive. You would not notice this in the beginning, but you will feel it a few hours into the game. Coming to the graphics and visuals part, this is where Origins really shines, as Ubisoft introduced over-the-top visuals when it comes to the character models, environment, and the overall world of the game. I have been playing this game since the time it was released, but till today sometimes in some areas of the game I just stand on some of the rooftops to admire the visuals and how they portrayed ancient Egypt with breathtaking sceneries. The buildings, the endless Egyptian desert, the palm trees, the Great Pyramids, Alexandria, the lighthouse. Everything that this game has to offer when it comes to visuals and graphics is just amazing. Going around in the game and just watching all of those places is just a joy of its own. And I would go as far as recommending playing this game only for this particular reason. Coming to the music part, I would say that Ubisoft did a pretty good job as always with all the Assassin's Creed installments. They always had the skill of choosing the correct soundtrack that can put you in the right mood while playing the Assassin's Creed game and gives you the feel of the era that you are playing the game in. So for the music part, I would say it's a job well done from Ubisoft. As for the audio part, I don't see that it's that different from all the previous Assassin's Creed installments, as it's mainly focusing on swords clashing, different weapon sounds, and horses and camels. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean that the audio is bad, it's still pretty good, but I wouldn't praise it as I didn't see any new additions when it comes to that part compared to the previous installments.
Worms can have you.
He will be in the temple. He always is.
While Origins diverted away from the Assassin's Creed stealth mechanics that we all used to love and introduced new combat mechanics to the franchise, and despite having a few boring repetitive side missions, still Assassin's Creed Origins is one of the best games in the series, and it managed to introduce a lot of other new things that are worth exploring. I would definitely recommend giving it a try, especially if you are a fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise, and you might also be able to grab it at a deal as it's almost 3 years old. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to watch more videos like this one.